Okay, it is September 26th. We've got a live webinar this evening talking about setting up your home studio, and I want to show you how I set up my home studio to look just like this. After building about 20 startup studios and my home studio several times over, I've realized that the best home studio is one that doesn't get in the way. You have an idea, you sit down, you turn your computer on, you hit record. That should be it. So I want to give you guys a quick tour of all the gear that I'm using to set this up so that you can have an image that looks something like this, that is consistent to the point where all I have to do is turn on a light, turn on a camera, turn on the recording software, and hit record. So the first thing you want to do when you have a home studio setup is to first just check for the natural lighting. Before you add all your light fixtures and everything, you want to just see where is the best light. I originally had my desk facing the window, and I should encourage you, if you're watching this, to put your desk facing the window, because then when you put the camera facing the window, here, let me give my little lighting setting on my cameras. When you face the window like this, it looks nice. It's nice and even tone. I could even go over here to this other corner window, and you could put it right here, talk to the camera, and you're still getting that nice even light. Most people, what they would do is put their desk up against the wall, and I would have this turned off. They'll put their desk up against the wall like this and be blown out in the background, or they will have the window to their back and the window is blown out. And this is a nice camera, so it's not going to bloom out. But if you had a crappy webcam, I would be completely in shadow, and that would be 100% brightness. So the first thing, is checking out your entire space, what it looks like. Again, I had my desk somewhere around here. I had my desk right around here, facing the window. I had the monitors, but I still wanted lighting. My situation, personally, is I want to record at any time of day because this is a southern-facing window, so the sun is always beaming right here. It's a cloudy day, thankfully, so I have the windows open. Normally, I have these shades down because I want to control the lighting as much as possible. And if I want to record in the morning, or record in the afternoon, or record at night, the image looks the same no matter what. If this was completely pitch black outside, I would need a lot of lighting, and my night shots would look different than my day shots. And if I'm recording a video in the morning and I want to then go back and re-record something or record part 2 of it, I want it to all look consistent. If you are of that school of thought and you want your videos to look more consistent, then get some blackout shades like this and don't even worry about the windows at all. So the next part is let's talk the camera. Let's talk the camera setup. So you could do a webcam setup right here, put it on top of your monitor, and be good to go. Have your little light up here, have your microphone, and totally be fine. What I've done is I want to sit here and look slightly off to the left, and that way if I want to read something on screen, I can read it through either read it on screen or read it through this teleprompter. Sometimes when I'm reading through a teleprompter, I'm reading like an ad or something specific that needs a specific script. Maybe it's a VSL. So let me take you to the back. Again, I have given up at all, and I think you should give up on cable management. It's a waste of time. It's only for aesthetics. It has no actual purpose. So move everything out of the way. So I'm using my old GH5 camera. This is a 4K camera. It has a full-size HDMI output, and I'm running, I'll show the little device here on screen. It is called, I think it's like not a cam link, but it's just called 4K camera computer connector or something. I'll put the title on screen. I've got a dummy battery in here for the GH5, and this dummy battery allows me to plug my camera into my wall instead of having to constantly deal with camera batteries that die, that just are always having to charge, or always having to do charging stuff like this. Instead, I just want to turn my camera on and not have to worry about charging, so that's the first step. Then you want a pretty wide enough lens, or you want an adjustable lens. This lens is a 12 to 60 millimeter. This is like they call it the kit lens. This is the lens that comes with the camera when you buy it originally. I don't have an SD card in here. This camera is basically just a view screen. It's just making the image, and my computer is going to be doing the recording. So I've got some rigging here a little bit more. I've got this is called a magic arm. This I stole from my Gorilla Pod. This is just a ball head tripod just kind of getting the adjustment right. I've got some magic arms. These are like magic podcast mic arms that are all clamped. Everything's clamped to the desk because I'll show you here in a minute. This is a standing desk, and right now I have it in seating position, but I want the ability to still have the camera here and still be mobile and still have it able to go up and down. Because think of this, if I had a tripod right here, which I've done in the past, if I had a tripod right here, it would be at a fixed position. And if I were to raise this table up or lower it down, I would always have to be, again, constantly changing the tripod adjustment angle, and then it'd just be a nightmare and it would not be fast and efficient. The thing on top of it, this is the latest thing I've gotten, and this is awesome. This is the Elgato teleprompter. This is a complete game changer. All it is it connects to USB, so it's got a USB port right there. You have a little mounting bracket. You put it on your camera right there. It has different types of attachments, so if you had an iPhone, if you had your webcam, or if you had a big camera like this, it can all fit on there. What's nice about this is it can connect to my computer and just basically become a third screen. So if I ever wanted to, and I do this all the time, I'll take my OBS right here, put it here. What's nice about it is I can take it over here, put it on screen, and it just have it nice and connected. I'll right click here and say full screen to Elgato prompter. So then while I'm here, I can look at myself and make a recording. And I have that little red dot marker. I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in. But there's a little red dot marker. That's where the lens is behind the glass, so that I can look right into camera and show you what I'm talking about. So that's the camera setup. Again, power dummy, full-size HDMI. Maybe your camera needs a micro HDMI connector. And this HDMI is going to, again, it's going straight to my computer via USB using that connector. I'll put it back on screen. How I have this rigged up, that it's a clamp here. God, it's so wacky how it's rigged, but it works. So it's like a clamp here attached to the desk, and this magic arm is supporting this camera here. It's a little, you do what you can. It's not the prettiest thing, and there's no go get this specific product and make this specific thing work. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Rigging is part of the job. Okay, next, let's move on to lighting. So with the lighting here, I did have a flat LED panel here, and I'll go grab that real quick. So this is what I was using. It was the Godox SL60, and I was doing the light dome like everybody does, doing the giant light dome, but the light dome takes up 2 to 3 feet, and I don't have 2 to 3 feet behind my desk. I have half a foot. So I need something that's very simple. So this went to retirement. And then I switched to a flat LED dome. Instead of the giant round dome, I went to a more flatter dome. But that was still taking up too much room because it was probably now like 2 feet of depth. So instead, I went back to my closet and I found this thing. And you can probably get this thing online now. And just look up video LED light bar. Don't get a regular LED bar because it'll flicker on camera. You need something that is video ready and is called flicker free. This is called the Quasar Science. I made a video about it years ago. I've had this thing for like 6-7 years now. God, no, maybe more than 6 or 7 years. Time flies. I've got it rigged up on a podcast mic arm. This is a cheap little Chinese one, $20. And it's got a little ball pin clamp on it. I just have it clamped up, and I've got it on a dimmer switch. You can get that for about $20, $30. And I just, whenever I need it, turn it on. And I've got a nice even key light, and I love this because it's just so soft out the box. You don't need any diffusion. You can't put diffusion on it, but again, the profile of this is super tiny. We're talking, this is the back of my computer, and this is the depth of it. So when you're in a small space, consider something like this. Okay, that is my key light, so that's the main light that's going to light me up. Here, let me show you what it looks like with the shades pulled down. So again, this is the key light, very nice and soft. So if I'm looking at camera here, we see that it's nice little key light here. The next thing that I need to add was a fill light because I need a little bit of shadow here on this side of my face, and I need a little eye light because sometimes your eye's just a little too dark. So I added this Drawcast one, cheap LED panel, whatever. And then I have it slightly turned so that it gets a little bit on my face. And what's nice too is all of these white walls, the white reflectors, everything basically acts like a bounce card. It's all nice and soft and even. That's what I like about this too. These are sound panels. I got in white. I don't get black, don't get red, don't get blue. just get nice white so that it blends in with your wall, and it acts as a nice little bounce card. Okay, now let's talk about audio. We probably should have led the video with audio because audio is the most important thing. Right now, I'm using the Joe Rogan microphone, but there are very other simple, tiny, much smaller, less intense microphones out there. You can get a USB microphone. You can get a $99 XLR, actually, let me go grab some of the microphones I've used in the past. Okay, so here is the very first microphone I used. This is not even the SM50A, which is like the classic one that you see at every rock show. This is the cheaper model of it, and I just had it rigged up here, had USB plugged up here, and it sounds amazing. So this is about $20, $30. XLR is another $10, and you plug it into your audio recorder, and this sounds great. This sounds amazing. It was great. The other thing that I bought, which was a nice cheap knockoff to this, is called the Stellar X2. It's just a dynamic mic, condenser mic. I don't know. It's just a nice little studio mic. I think it was like, this sounds like this sounds exactly like the microphone that Michael Jackson used, and it's only $99. So I got it. It was great. Used it for a while, and then we got the Joe Rogan microphone. So you upgrade. So that's what I would recommend. Start small, and then as you get more committed to this, upgrade your stuff. Those are 2 microphones. So, how I have this microphone set up right now, I have it on a podcast arm, which I recommend. Get you a podcast arm so that you can articulate this. This Joe Rogan microphone needs a gain thing. So if you just plug this in straight to your computer, it would be so quiet that you couldn't hear. Even if you're talking loud into this microphone, you would not be able to hear what you're saying. So you've got to get some kind of gain. There's one's called like a lift cloud. This one's called like the dynamite stick. It just boosts the gain of the microphone so that your computer can actually hear what you're saying. Then I found a cheap model. Most people have seen like the Red Scarlet something. You need an audio interface. So you need to take these XLR cables and plug them into your computer and you need something in the middle to like convert that analog XLR signal to digital, I guess. This one's called the MOTU, MOTU-2, 2 for 2 inputs. There's a MOTU 4 for 4 inputs. If you plug it in, your computer instantly recognizes it. You can run your headphones out of it as well. I will just zoom in. What I like about it is it gives you can monitor, you can have the levels here. You can turn it up and down. This is your microphone right here. This is if you had some speakers running out. This is your headphone, and you can see how loud everything is. That's what's not to left. Very simple. Probably get about $99 at this point. Once we have everything connected, once we have our camera signal coming in and our audio signal coming in, then you need to put it into some kind of recording software. You can do Loom. I use OBS. And you need to add your camera source, add your audio source, which is your microphone, and that is pretty much it. There's a little syncing up to do. Maybe add some filters, maybe add some pop filters or some compression to your audio. You can make it a little fancy if you want to, but that is it. That's the simple setup that I have. So that, again, all that I have to do is I turn on my camera, turn on these 2 lights. So it's so simple that I turn on my camera, I turn that light on, I turn that light on, I turn this microphone on, 2 little buttons, and then I start recording in OBS. And I just hit the start record button, and that's how I make my content. And I can do screen share with OBS. I can change this from, just full screen to vertical split screen, so you could like see my screen here, and I can make it into little bubbles so that I'm down below in the bubble, or I'm full screen. That is the quick and dirty setup. Again, this has taken me years to perfect and figure out and get just right. It's not that expensive. You don't have to buy the best top of the line gear. You can buy budget cameras, you can buy budget microphones, you can buy budget cheap lights and riggings and stands. You don't need all of this fancy equipment. I'll turn that off. And let's open up a nice bright window. That is the entire tour. Very simple. I would explain all this stuff in the background, but you could thank my wife for that. For all the design. That's the other part too. When you're setting up your studio, what is your background going to look like? That's where you need a little home decor, add some personality, your favorite books, your favorite, pieces of art, some kind of nice little lamp that makes it feel homey, some nice furniture. That's for another video. Okay, so that is how I set up my home studio. I'm going to include a link here again at Thursday, 8:30 p.m. tonight. we are doing our live webinar showing you guys how to set up a home studio like this. You can join us live or you can watch the replay. I'll put the link down below in the description. And the next video that I think you should watch is this one right here. I show you my 2-week sprint model to stay productive in your business and how to set goals the right way.